had said that I had made my final The Naming of Cats video for my larger YouTube channel, Jared Routson, JaredRoutson. That turned out to be false because I found a bunch more names, not a bunch more, but a few more names from the ensemble cast of cats that T.S. Eliot did not write poems for, but he had an affinity for some of their names. For example, Jelly Lorem is a name in Cats who sings along with Gus the Theater Cat in a song, but Jelly Lorem was T.S. Eliot's actual name of one of his cats, a cat that he owned, a pet cat of T.S. Eliot, Jelly Lorem. Jelly Lorem, yeah. And anyway, I have some more information to share. So there's something on the internet called fandom apps, and I think for each theme there's a fandom app for each topic that fans like to associate with. And this information is taken from Cats Musical Wiki, that's W-I-K-I, from the fandom apps. They had some fan articles on Cats. They had, what was relevant to me was their blogs on the cat names and what they look like in their costumes, background notes about their costumes, and their each cat has a zodiac sign on that page, on those blogs. The theory about some of the cats, like their background story. I don't think T.S. Eliot ever wrote a background story about each cat and their relationship to each other, because Musical Wiki had their whole family history and their relationship to each of the cats' relationship to each other. It seems like there's two clans, the Jellicle clan and the McCavity gang, which McCavity is trying to steal people who have left him, abandoned him. And this family history is extensive. But in it, I got a lot of information about some of the names that were created for actors or dancers in Cats. Some names that had been retired, such as the name George was retired after the dancer had played like 20 years of being George. So it was retired to the Cats Hall of Fame. So I'm just going to go through some of these names. And off for the top of the bat, I want to mention some of the fan names. The fandom pairing of names. I don't know if Tyler Haynes and Ricky Ubeda in vlogs on social media have talked about the fandom names, for example, or if they created any. There's Tugophiles, which is putting Rum Tum Tugger and Magical Mr. Mistopheles together. That was Tugophiles, or there's Tugstophiles. Misto's Magic, or Mr. Mistopheles. It's a abbreviated name for Mr. Mistopheles. Misto's Magic. Platoria is a combination of Plato and Victoria, of his alternative Admetus. Some of these cat names are used when other of these cat names aren't, because some of these cat names are ensemble casting for cats that have a different name, so they switch names of the ensemble cast of the dancer who's playing them. There's Admetoria, which is a combination of Admetus and Victoria, or there's Vic Metus, a combination of Victoria and Admetus. Okay, so those are the fandom names. And you can't name a cat to that because they're bi-gender, although in Greek you have bi-gender names. But anyone who wants to name their cat that can. It's just I'm not gonna do that because that's not T.S. Eliot's vision for his names. I mentioned that Sarah Brightman had been given a name. Let me just turn to that. It was Castalia, Sacred Fountain of the Muses. But she sings memory in Puss in Boots. Sarah Brightman sings memory. And the name of the cat in Puss in Boots is Kitty Softpaws, who is the love interest to Puss in Boots and later his girlfriend. You can be what do you mean you can be a love interest and not be a girlfriend? That's strange. I guess it happens. And so I have some other names here to go over. Definitely check out that Cats Musical Wiki site on Fandom Apps. On do a Google search and you'll find it. It seems like the naming of cats, each cat must have 3 different names according to the Naming of Cat poems by T.S. Eliot. And it's more like these names are turning into, for each cat, a person, a place, or a thing. A person, place, and a thing. The place is not the Heaviside Layer. The place is an old junkyard where Cats the Musical takes place. Where all of this background stories and like Grizabella having kids by such and such and abandoning them or leading them into a car, leading Victoria into a car wreck or onto an oncoming car, so that Victoria can't do anything. Or is it? It might be a different cat than Victoria. I forget, but it's on that Cats Musical Wiki. So that's the place, and all the cats have their own relationship to one another in that junkyard place. They don't mention a world or whatnot, and then there's the person, which is a person in real life, more commonly a person who we know today, who's alive and well, but not all people are still alive from Cats Ensemble or my Legend of Cats. Or person, place, or thing. The thing is the name that only that cat knows. The person is the name that's the family that's known to the family. And the place is their common name. And so the thing is the name only known to the cat itself. Such as you got Aslan the Lion from Chronicles of Narnia, or you got Puss in Boots from Shrek, a cat from literature, a cat from, you have the Cheshire Cat as Macavity, the Mystery Cat, from Alice in Wonderland, but it was also made into a movie by Disney. So if that thing can encompass all entertainment and all makes of itself, some questions we could ask. Or if there's a different cat for each remake of the thing. I had left out a singer cat. So John Rezenzik from the Goo Goo Dolls is a singer. He sings As I Am in a music video I made on my larger YouTube channel of Nature Cat, and the song he sings is As I Am. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am is a lyric. And John Resnick, his thing, or the name known only to him, could be Theodore, because his middle name is John Joseph Theodore Resnick. Well, Joseph's Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, but I didn't use that for him. Theodore from Alvin and the Chipmunks, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore, because those chipmunks are a rock group, and they appeared in. They're a rock singing group. The Alvin and the Chipmunks are, and so they appeared in a recent movie where the Jonas Brothers sang one of the theme songs to it. I forget the name of the movie. So we got the name Flatpot from this site as an ensemble name cat. John Mills, who played Gus for the first time, although he had other musical experience in musicals and a long history of movies, and he had passed away a while back. He played Pip in Great Expectations, and you see. It was a 1998 DVD movie that he appeared on as Gus the Theater Cat. And he's been given a royal title also. John Mills has. So now he's Flatpot. Flattpot, one word. He did a good job. Which brings me to my next point. He played Gus the Theater Cat. Well, if Gus the Theater Cat is Mike Myers, if Gus the Theater Cat was Puss in Boots from Shrek, then Gus needs to be Antonio Banderas as a person, who's the voice of Puss in Boots. However, Mike Myers, I also said he was Gus the Theater Cat. However, Gus was mentioned two names. He's really Asparagus, but that's such a fuss to pronounce that we usually just call him just Gus. So Mike Myers can be Asparagus, and Antonio Banderas can be Gus. And there's another voice artist who plays Gus in a later movie of Puss in Boots or Shrek. But someone will have to come up with a name for him because I'm running out of names. And you have to know a person really well to give them a name. Usually there's someone who's done something in a career, like something notable in some of the arts or sciences. Then you have the name Yarjo. I don't know what language it's in. Yrjo, umlaut O. I think that's how you spell it. I'm pretty sure it's not YNJO, it's RYJO. Ken Page sang Deuteronomy in the 1998 DVD version, but I think he was also in the original cast, if I'm not mistaken. But even if he wasn't in the original cast, he did a good job. He was been called a cabaret singer. So now he has a name, Yarjo. Jor. I don't know how you umlaut O. We could look it up online what language that name is from and what it means, but I found out that etc. I use it for Elton John. I found out etc. is a female cat, but we can spell etc. different for Elton John. You know, there's etc., etc., etc. People say that like that sometimes. So maybe one of those is a male and one of those is a female. Etc. is a dilute tabby and white female cat. So she can be Maureen Daniel. Etc. can be Maureen Daniel, who's a singer, one of the singers of Memory, because a lot of people have sung Memory, have made careers in singing Memory. There's a name Gilbert. Gilbert and Grumbuskin. Grumbuskin is Captain Pike from the new Star Trek series, who appeared in the original series when it came out. And they're supposed Gilbert and Grumpskin are in this Cats musical wiki fandom app. Is said to have East Asian martial arts skills. I guess Captain Pike might be trained in martial arts as part of his Starfleet training. Gilbert, Cameron McIntosh produced Cats, the musical, when it first came out in 1981. So he can be Gilbert. I don't know what Gilbert means as a name, but that's okay. I realized there's a name called Baby Grizz, which stands for Baby Grizzabella. Oftentimes, Baby Grizz appears in the beginning of a cat show sometimes. We know that Grizzabella is Stevie Valance. We know now that Grizzabella is Stevie Valance. She might not have been a prostitute, but she was. Hopefully, she wasn't a prostitute, because that. But she was an actress. She just wants to join the other cats and be part of them again. But Baby Grizzabella could be What's That Kangaroo? So Stevie Valance was reborn as Was That Kangaroo on Zoobilee Zoo, a PBS Kids series on PBS Public Television, which also had a zoo of people, including, I can't read my own writing, Braco Fox, Talkatoo, Cockatoo, Lookout Bear, Bill Dare Beaver, Van Gogh Lion, Mayor Ben. They're all different animals. And as for Van Gogh Lion, I realize he's a cat. So his name, the lion, I guess his name would be Vincent. Van Gogh the lion, his cat name would be Vincent. And I don't know why Vincent Van Gogh. I don't know why I wanted to put his name that he knows only to himself as Romeo from Romeo and Juliet by Shakespeare. Because he just wants to be a lover. I think Van Gogh just wants to be a lover. Even though he killed himself. One of the names I found on a list from a different source was Murad, although it was on this site, wiki site. The full name is all in capital letters. Mirla Murad Ali Beg. And T.S. Eliot said this cat has blue blood, is demarked by his blue blood, and he is from a royal family, a royal lineage. And that's why I used my dad, Sam Routson, because I don't know if you could call Mormonism, which I used to be a Mormon until I converted 2 or 3 or 4 years ago to Christianity. I don't know if you could consider that being a royal family, but someone who can go from being a farm to working for a politician, working in the Pentagon, who has like hunting and fishing and camping and survival skills, who was in the military, who served overseas on the Persian Gulf War and in the Panama invasion. So that's why I called Sam Routson my dad Murad. And Mormonisms believe they'll actually become gods. So that's why they believe they're royal, in a way. They'll become like, they believe in three separate, they don't believe in the Trinity. They believe in three separate persons who make up the Godhead, not the Trinity. They're not one, they're just one in purpose in Mormonism. And God the Father is going to make those who qualify in his temple with eternal marriage into gods so that they'll have their own. But God the Father doesn't have a body, so he can't make everyone, not have a body. God doesn't give his glory to another. Okay, but moving along so we don't get too political or religious. Noilly Pratt, I gave that name, it's the name of an alcohol beverage like wine, to Andrea Bocelli, because he appeared in my music video with Sarah Brightman in his song Time to Say Goodbye, from a Japanese-based movie, I think. The music video is on my larger YouTube channel under uploads. And Noilly Pratt, I found out, is not a he, but a she in the ensemble cast. I think Noilly Pratt is someone in the Heaviside Layer. They'll probably have wine in the Heaviside Layer. I think Cher has been to the Heaviside Layer. So Cher could be Noilly Pratt. Because she appeared in a skit with Liberace when she toured his home. It's hilarious. It's on one of my playlists on my YouTube channel, I think. Jellicle Cats in Hollywood with Thomas T.S. Eliot and Landry Lloyd Webber playlist. You can see the full skit on there. She plays a woman named Laverne. Cher plays a woman named Laverne touring, who tours Liberace's house after hours when it's closed and runs into the butler. And my grandma on my mom's side of the family was Laverne, and my mom's middle name was Laverne. So I can relate to the skit in a way. Then there's the name Olivia. Obviously, I don't know what language it's in or what it means. But Betty Buckley is a singer of memory, and Betty Buckley can be Olivia. Then I made this one up. That's the end of my names for Cats Ensemble. Now I have to make up some of my own names. You got Leonardo Da Vinci. I think he's a famous painter. Because we have a professional cat in all the professions, but an artist. So Leonardo Da Vinci can be the artist. He can be the cat. He painted the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa has been compared to a painting of John the Baptist. So Leonardo da Vinci's cat name can be John the Baptist, or John. And Leonardo secretly dreams of being a Leonardo work of art in a Leonardo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Because there's like 4 or 5 turtles that have artist names. Just like the Thundercats has a bunch of cats who are, Skimbleshanks, if he's James Franco and the other directors and the other cats in Thundercats are directors, CEOs of companies like Disney, like Michael Eisner, then we need the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles representing the artists. Okay, so David Mallet served as the director of the 1998 production of Cats, that's DVD, starring Elaine Page and Elaine Page and Ken Page. Elaine Page is Paige, Ken Page is Page, so they're different spellings. So he also directed Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat, and one of the stars at one point was Donny Osmond. So David Mallet's cat name can be Osmond, and his name known only to him. He wants to be an acrobat in Cirque du Soleil, which he produced some of their music for, or something like that. So then you got Tom Hooper, who was in the 2019 Cats movie that starred Taylor Swift and also Judi Dench and Ian McKellen. I thought of a name for him as Gandalf. Don't ask me why, but I think it's a good name. And he secretly dreams of being, his name that's known only to him, that he secretly dreams of being Jean Valjean from Les Miserables, because he directed the Les Miserables movie not too long ago. I gave Madonna the name Exotica. Madonna has a real name other than just her stage name. Exotica was originally created for Femi Taylor, to play the cat role. But I don't need to bring that up. Okay, so one in the 1998 DVD with Elaine Page and Ken Page also appeared Susan Jo Tanrin. Is it? I can't read my own writing. Turin. Sorry. We could look it up, but she played Jelly Loram, who is Gus' love interest. Or if not his love interest, she played a duet and kind of helped him on and off the stage, because Gus is infirmed. Gus is now a ghost. Or the actor who played Gus is John Mills. He's now a ghost. Flatpot. So I gave Susan Jo Tannerin, who played Jelly Loram, there was no more names left over. So in Greek mythology, there's the name Eurydice, or in Latin or whatever language it's Greek, but she was a character in Greek mythology and the Alorian wife of Orpheus, who tried to bring her back from the dead with his enchanting music. Of course, Orpheus is given the name. Orpheus is the name of Sir Richard Henry Simpson Stilgo, who's been knighted by the Queen, born March 28th, 1943. By the way, John Mills was like 99 when he died, so he was a decade or so ago. He was really old, and Walt Disney Company recognized his work when he died. But I just wanted to give a little bit more background on the Greek myth person who's Eurydice. In Greek mythology, Eurydice was a nymph and one of the daughters of the god Apollo. She was married to Orpheus, a legendary musician and poet. After their marriage, Aristeus, a minor god, pursued her and wanted to marry her. Eurydice, one of the 50 Nereids, sea nymph daughters of the Old Man of the Sea, Nereus and the Oceanid Doris, Eurydice. Eurus and the Oceanid Doris. Eurydice, a Libyan princess, as one of the 50 Danaides, daughter of King Daenerys, and the Naiad Polyxo, who married and murdered Dryas. Eurydice fled at her death, but was bitten by a poisonous snake and died. Overcome with grief at his wife's death, Orpheus decides to go to the underworld and bring her back. Nymph, minor goddess of nature, usually represented as young and beautiful. Underworld's land of the dead. Okay, and this leads me to a point which is relevant in that I was watching a video about a Christian who was almost drowned by what he says were mermaids, or they're aliens. Fallen angels are not, there's no aliens from outer space because there are no other planets with life on them. Aliens are from a dimension that God probably banished them to, or that they can live in, or they have powers that we don't understand, and they can be seen or unseen. And it's, you'd have to look into it on your own, make up your own minds. But this Christian was giving his testimony, and God saved him from being drowned by them. And the video is on one of my YouTube playlists, maybe various researching or something like that playlist. I don't have the YouTube channel name here at the moment. So, Jesus or an angel then warned the Christian about these nymphs or mermaids or whatever they called them, that they use men's seed to create more daughters. This alien uses men's seed to create more daughters of him, which are half humanoid. That maybe they look like women, but they're not really women. By seducing or using temptation, seen or unseen they are. So they are after the souls of men. They want to have their race thrive above ours so that we'll become extinct eventually. So there might be something to Greek mythology, Watch the video and make up your own mind, or keep researching it, because you can research your whole life on things and never come to the truth. That's why you have to have faith in Jesus. None of us were there to see the Bible happen. The Bible is a good witness, but it's our faith as a grain of mustard seed that saves us. It's our belief. And it works. Our faith, the grain of a mustard seed, works when what you believe in is the truth. When you're worshiping the one true God, that's how faith works. You're putting your faith in that which is actually true and which is going to happen, and which the price has been paid for on Jesus' finished work on the cross. And in my other videos on cats, I let religion run into it, these naming of cats. That's okay, no harm done. I also talk about things to do when you get sick from anything. What you're dealing with a common virus now, you need to deal with your blood viscosity, with clotting, blood clotting. There's a drug that's being researched in Israel. On lab rats, I don't know if they found out if it prevents clotting, which clotting happens in a certain percentage of the 30% or something of the population in the world when they come and they're exposed to something like corona. So in a French study, they used NSAIDs like aspirin, Tylenol, Aleve, but don't use ibuprofen because it has a bad reaction to corona. So these drugs are anticoagulation, anti-inflammatory. I don't think they necessarily stop clotting, but a lot of health food things like turmeric and vitamin C and such like that can thin your blood too. Aspirin thins your blood. So I just wanted to mention those things. And I think my video is run on pretty long now. Thank you everyone who took the time to watch it and listen to the ends. Hopefully you enjoyed the naming of cats as much as I did. And if I need to add any add-ons, I can just type it under the comments section or the vlog section of this video. And maybe I won't have to make another one. Because how many more cast members of names can you make? And with that, I think I got all the points on... I think I said Olivia was Betty Buckley, the singer of memory. Cats originally was directed by Trevor Nunn and produced by Cameron McIntosh. David Mallet was the director of the 1998 production, and Thomas Hooper was the DVD, and Thomas Hooper was the director of the 2019 production. So I hope I haven't left out anyone who really wanted to be a cat, whether they worked on cats or they had their careers were in other things, or they're just normal people, like my dad, but or me. I'm a very normal person, and yet I named myself Cockalorum, a self-important little man. Because I'm a cat. The only reason I'm a cat is my rising sign, or what was on the horizon when I was born, or my first house is Leo. 10 degrees Leo. And my moon is like 21, 22 or something degrees Leo. So if your moon doesn't make you a cat when it's in Leo, I don't know what will. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say, and thanks again.